Welcome to the world of abundance of feminine. And like I said, clearly your experience, clearly you've had feminine in your life, many women in your life. I hear you speaking from a place of choice, speaking from a place of option, speaking from a place of even overwhelm or confusion because there's not such a, what do I call it, one-itis. There's not such a, focus on one and only. And I mean that, no offense at all. Just the context of you're genuinely in a place with freedom, with no obligation, and you're present to, oh, wow, well, look at all these, look at what I have over here, comparing one to your checklist, and then seeing a completely different flavor. Baskin Robbins, you're like literally getting to just taste the option. And that is a distinct, like this is where I can say you truly have your feet in the water of abundance, right? I want to underline that so that you can be present to it, because this is pointed to in a lot of our past conversations. And now I think is a season where you can actually experience it and not from a hypothetical, because there's so much FOMO inside of, well, is it that I just want this? Do I just desire this? Or what is it about, multiple women, monogamous, whatever, all this confusion and stuff, even guilt and obligation towards ones that invested into. So I invite you to just be with this space that you're in as truly what a sense of abundance is, where you, as you said, know your value, are able to see contrast and difference, are able to consider options, and also have a sense of power in where you actually choose to, figuratively, literally. So with that, now welcoming you into this water, you got your foot dipped into the water, the kiddie pool, the depth of, because what you're looking at is jumping all the way in to the other end of the pool at the Olympic side. And I mean, like with the 50-foot diving board Olympic, like you can get in this motherfucker and drown if you don't actually know how to swim. So it's good that you're asking these questions, that you're reflecting. And what I invite you to consider is to really take your time, this space, this time and place. I invite you to look at so many conversations and programs on autopilot that you haven't really, and they are running into situations and circumstances that are frying their circuit. Does that make sense? Yeah, meaning that exactly. You're now engaging with questions and conversations like, what do I do? Because everything has been on a, my one and only, one true love, this amazing, destined, and I mean no offense to you, like generations of men have been brainwashed. So when we finally get a taste of feminine affection, attention, affirmation, intimacy, all these things that we need and crave just as fucking human beings, when you finally have that, it's hard to experience that, have your nose wide open and be hooked on that, and then tell yourself, oh, I'm gonna have choices and options, if you're not really experiencing choices and options. So it can logically, theoretically sound good. Yeah, keep my options open. I've got the power. Let me choose what works for me. Let me have my standards. And then maybe you just want a hug. Maybe you just want somebody to hold you, cuddle you. Maybe you need to be fucked and sucked. Maybe you need somebody to cook you a meal. Maybe you need somebody to respect you, admire you, affirm you, see your value, give you that push and motivation to be out there in the world. So many layers of what the yin and yang dance of relation. And when a man gets access to that and does not know the distinction of choice, it's very hard to have a monk-like focus and just reserve and abstain from everything that's been put on you, if that makes sense. So I give you that context, tell you to take your time, tell you to reflect and really engage with this, that this is the normal. You are just getting into the pool. And by that, I mean it's the idea. No type of player lifestyle or anything like that, meaning that your choices and actions need to are in your best interest. It's in your best interest. It's most optimal and ideal to make your choices from this. So with that, you need to get used to that. You need to build the muscle. So this is why I'm underlining first and foremost, welcome to abundance. Get used to the air. Like there's an immediate pressure, and this is what I was talking about, the overwhelm, the old beliefs, being a nice guy, the relationship escalator. Well, I find somebody I like, if likes me, gotta get lucky, gotta snag them. Scarcity is not a lot about it. Nobody's talked to me like this. Nobody's felt like this about me. And you're actually getting to see contrast. Well, here's one I actually like more, tick, 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 tick on these boxes. But there are these things over here that I don't really like. And oh my God, this one over here is just coming with that like crazy. Don't really feel the same about this war, but I mean this feeling and everything behind it and blah, 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 right? So that's abundance. That's, I say 32 scoops, like Baskin Robbins, that diversity of options and flavor, that's the space to come from so that you are fully empowered. And when it comes to getting your ideal, you've had so many options, weighed out so much of the data, the feelings, the experience, to really have power, choice, and selection to actually choose where you want to proceed, where you want that's good fertile soil that I can grow something. And even that context, potential, because when I say get comfortable, that relationship escalator conversation is what's telling you, who do I need to choose? Bro, you've known this chick for counting 40 hours. The other one you've been dating for like 4 months that you said you were going to date for a year before you even think about a relationship. So my context is just to pump the brakes, slow down, and recognize, oh shit, you're now doing the thing. So long ago, I've always said, when you were dealing with the breakup pains, to heal those wounds, you need to move on. Not just go put notches on your belt, but you need to experience your life, your journey. You're focused on you. Now you're in that space to actually experiencing. Now you're aligned and doing the thing, being a single man, being out there experiencing friends, platonic, romantic, whatever, and you're getting all the experiences, all the data, everything that you need to actually. So now that you're here, it's going a bit deeper, as it always should, cyclical. You're coming back for the next round. You're evolving and expanding as a human being. There's more for you to learn this go round, from your last relationship, from the relationship before that, from the relationship before that, whether it's a date, whether it's a fling, whether it's a hookup, situationship, one night relationship, full blown engagement, whatever, marriage, divorce. All of it is our constant. The things that we were talking about, your heart chakras, is the opportunity for you to go deeper, for you to pass it. And so you being overwhelmed, I assert, from all the, what do I do? The confusion, like that over, is this right? Is that right? I'm uncertain, I'm confused, because you're still on programs that say, well, when a woman comes around, a boy and a girl get together and then they have habit. Then comes love, then comes a marriage, then comes a baby carriage. All that stuff autopilot, sticking to your ideals. And there's not even a choice to be, and get comfortable. Even when you hear the pacing, you're selecting your potentially life partner, potentially even lifestyle. You've always rushed the monogamy, non-monogamy. Have you taken time to, even at my space, years into it, inside of multiple relationships, multiple partners, still looking and learning, especially as a man, experience, does this part of the lifestyle actually work for you? What parts of the lifestyle do you actually want and like? Monogamous, monogamish, non-monogamy? What elements matter? What pieces need? And when you experience them, remember, I told you before, you said you was 7 baby mamas, children with different women, a whole village. And yeah, I thought the same thing. Is now having 2 daughters, maybe slow down on that 4 to 6 goal. Let me pump the brakes. Let me actually live into that. So I say, slow down, perspective of where you are, what is actually important, and what needs to happen. So in that, closer to where you even set up that whole year thing, I invite you to consider maybe the relationship to yourself. And I don't mean needs like creating more parameters. What I mean is that maybe you need to get comfortable at just yourself, just being yourself, balancing 2 to 3 choices of women so that you can see, where do I feel I actually taste the flavor. Go on a few dates, have sex, let the conversations keep flowing. With that, right, slowing down to just get to know yourself, experience, get to know yourself, get to know how you feel, and get to know why you want, experiencing the contrast, even if it's just, you don't have to change a thing about what you're, still continue to be an inquiry. If it's not worth your time and effort, then you can make that choice when it comes down to who do I want to hang out with. But this is the normal. When they say a man finds a good thing, it's not that happy-go-lucky, trying to get lucky, down and out loser. A man finding a good thing is a man with choices and options, a man in abundance, a man of value who has women who want to be with him, and then he finds inside of his choices, oh, this is the flavor I actually like. This is the flavor of my ideals. This is the flavor in a build. This is worth me building. You'll know when that's there, because that will have clarity. When you've had enough options, where you're in the space of, they say in like HR, where you're trying to find people, they say if you go through, say, 100 candidates as a hiring, inside of the first 40, you want to look for who stands out as the best. Inside of the next 40, you want to find somebody who replaces that. When you find somebody who replaces that, that's the sweet spot to go for. Meaning that there's like, how do you win or lose? This is a like CEO level of business running strategy. If you have 100 candidates to go through, so what is it in the first 20 candidates that may be stellar, but then there's more potential? Say you find the second person who's stellar in the next 40, but then there's still more potential. So the return on investment, the law of averages, if you were to take the first 40%, evaluate the best candidate you find, stands out above everything else, then move on, keep going to see what else is out there. and find another candidate that stands out to be the best of what's available, comparing them to that first best. Whatever you land on inside of that second best, it's usually, nothing's guaranteed, that's a safe average, that's a space to move from, that you're not leaving something out on the field with that, could I have found better? But you've gone through enough selection to recognize, oh yeah, this, I saw something good, I found something great. This is the fucking mark. I'm willing to put my bets in here and cash my chips because I don't want to be out here forever and I don't want to pass up on too many. Does that make sense? Because you're just getting back in the game. You've had your strategy that's not very high throughput, not expanding your bandwidth. That's not a bad thing, but you've invested into one so far. And now you've considered two, like, oh shit, there's choices and options. There's levels to this. So my context being, give yourself this season. I'm really not even talking to the two women you're considering. I think that for you to be in position to make the choices that'll be most ideal with any potential, whether you have 5, 10, or maybe it's just the third, whatever, or even these two, when you have had the maturity, the clarity of your experience, that everything settles down because you know what it is that you've seen enough of what you don't want. You're starting to see a little bit of what you don't want. You've had a few relationships. You're now experiencing and know what you want clearly, and you're contrasting. Okay, maybe this one right here, Special K, I'm not feeling that anymore. And now you're seeing something, oh, this is extreme. This is a lot of what I was looking for, but it's been 30 hours. Is she kind of crazy? I mean, you did speak to, on a side note, you did speak to some other things you mentioned inside of this year. Some things raise red flags for yourself to proceed with caution, or at least yellow flags. If someone has gone through something, put up with something, is so quickly invested. Those are things, like you said, that repulsion is natural because there's no reciprocity to the investment. You haven't given anything. Well, I'll say it this way. Typically, it's a reverse dynamic. Masculine or men is giving so much value so early, nice guy syndrome and all that, that it repels feminine. They're like, why are you treating me so nicely? Why are you giving me so much? I haven't done anything for you. This is useless to me. I don't value it for anything. And you kind of look like a simp or whatever. You clearly want something and I don't know what you want, so I'm not sure I trust it. I don't know if it's mastering abundance is a powerful space for a man to be in, because you're going to make your life choices. You're going to choose where to plant your seed and your legacy, who to raise children with, who to split your life with, who to split your resources with, who to literally merge yourself with. And I don't mean to be extreme, I'm just speaking down the road, the direction, whatever you would be moving towards, you're bringing somebody into your life to whatever level of it. Inside of that, it is one of the most important choices you can make. And if it's gonna be something you're committed to for a decade, and putting your legacy tied to someone forever, even after you're gone, someone can fuck up your legacy. Someone can completely deter and steer your legacy. Taking your time to master this season so that when it is time for you to pull the trigger, when you have found, when a man finds a good thing in a woman, when you have found that, you actually know for yourself, where it's not outside influence, where it's not what other people think. You have felt it, you have experienced it, you know women, you know feminine, you know enough of feminine nature, you're not being caught off guard, you're not being swayed by your feelings and emotions, you're a grounded rock, you have your North Star, you know what you're looking, you're following, you've had enough to contrast it and say, that's it. I can feel it, it's in alignment, this is what I like, this is what I'm clear to choose over my other option. In that space, I would assert you can be as confident as a man as you can be that you're making a good choice. And it's still never 100%, obvious. That's the space I would encourage and invite you to choose from when the time comes to proceed and lead something with another woman, before you get overwhelmed with what's in front of you. Get comfortable with mastering abundance. When you feel that there aren't questions, when you feel that you've had the experience to know what you're doing, then you're ready to worry about and how to proceed. Put the boundary in place that you don't move forward and start a relationship. You can't do anything more than date. Do that for yourself. Until you master the space of abundance, do not proceed beyond dating. That way you can make the right choice when it's time to. You've been on that design with one woman and you did not consider dating, I say in quotes, dating, because you weren't dating anyone else. You were already dating exclusively, believe it or not. The way you were really taking it on, whether or not that was your full intention or you planned on doing it that way, what you were doing was basically courting, one woman. You're already in a space of dating exclusively, so you can't even see red flag. Everything's a green light because she's still there and she has a pulse. That's all your qualification. Look at the elements of femininity that you appreciate. Also be aware of what doesn't work for you, because like we said, the repelling element Please do not bring it into the world of logic. Let her do her feminine thing. Let that flower flourish. Just be mindful of yourself, what's so, and just sit back and watch. Like sit back and seek to know her. But yeah, don't get caught up in all that, man. You're supposed to lead it. If it wasn't your story, don't adopt it. Yeah, that could be fun. That's not how you choose and lead your story. Just make you aware. I hope that doesn't go into your choices and decisions of whatever, because it's just a feminine woman talking. It's in your favor that she's that head over heels, and it could be a fucking stage 5 clinger. So you have to be responsible with what's in your favor. You need to get the contrast, and then you'll have the clarity. You'll have the certainty. You won't need to ask others. You won't need to do it yourself, and then you can until you can answer that I'm talking about inside of abundance. When you get there won't be any question, and you'll be confident in what you're doing forward. You won't have FOMO because you made the choice, and you chose because you had options, you had contrast, you tasted vanilla, strawberry, rocky road, and this was exactly your fit. This is what you wanted and needed.